Okay, so here we are. The first thing we want to look at in developing millionaire mindset is believing your ability to create wealth. And I want to talk about that because that's huge and that's important. And I try to open up my video window here so you can see me on the bottom. That didn't come through. Let me see something. Let me try to make that. Let me see if that helps. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. You don't need to see me. Not right this second. Here's what you need to see. Believe in your ability to create wealth. Surround yourself with successful people. Stay disciplined. And I don't know that's a mistake there. Stay disciplined and consistent is what it's supposed to be. Make note, that needs to be checked. Invest in self-education, books, courses, and networking. We went through this last time. I won't go through all of that again. And then it says, what limiting beliefs about money do I need to overcome? And now we have a place now where you can fill them in, 1, 2, and 3. If you don't have this checklist, download it, fill it in. And I'm going to show you a video in a second that speaks to this. Step 2, choose $1 million business idea. And this is where it's going to get real fun. Solve a real problem and fulfill a real need. Conduct some market research. Validate the idea before scaling. Like, what the heck is this talking about? We'll see. Choose a business model. That means a service, a product, or a digital subscription. And then journalize your process there. And this is where we start to have some fun. Because now we're going to talk about exactly what it is and what that takes. Look, the video got doctored. I see what it did. It went to the and please let me know if y'all can hear this.
Do you know all your investments? Cause like,
no, I do not.
You don't know, like,
no.
You walk into a meeting and people tell you, hey, you have a real estate company, you have this and that. I know all my investments. You have no idea what you're invested in.
No, I got my first $1 million in 18 years old. I got to get that black on black Benz. Bet.
So you got the black on black.
I got the black on black.
Yeah.
So I get home, my dad said, "Where's my shit at?" Jump in, dog. Alpine. We'll get him one. So that's $300,000, right?
Yeah.
Come home, Mom. You my baby. You can get whatever you want. I'm not gonna get you the 600, but I get you the 500. So 100,000. So. And then, after I take care of them, you know, I gotta get the ice and the jewelry.
Right,
I'm living at I'm living at the house. The drive is three months away. I'm gonna rent me an apartment, condo. So I get a meeting. I get a call from the bank guy the next day, and he's looking at me and he's like, "Shaq, you know, we watch you grow up, and we don't want you to be like all the other athletes. Take a look at this. I don't know nothing about business, but you know how you know how we as black athletes, we always hear the story about stealing from you." So I get the piece of paper and I see FICA, 250,000. I'm like, "Hey man, what is FICA?" I don't know nothing about business. So he started laughing and he pulled out his thing. He pulled the dumbest guide to starting your own business. He said, "Shaq, you about to come into a lot of money. Read this." So I'm reading it. I don't know what I'm looking at. But my favorite chapter was joint ventureships, partnerships. And I'm like, and it's simple. If I'm gonna do a worldwide football camp, do it with y'all. I'm gonna put the money up. Y'all gonna run them. Boom. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. I ain't gonna tell you how to do it. So most of my businesses is joint ventureships. So where I know the business, I'm educated enough to look at the books to see what's going on, but I'm not out there doing everything by myself. I own 7 restaurants in Vegas. I got 3 guys that's in the restaurant business. I do business with them. So a lot of times my business is on paper because that's the business, but I'm still owners. So that's how I do a lot of my business, so I'm not all over the place. And that was my favorite chapter, joint ventureship. I do a lot of partnerships.
Just being to the financial level you're on, which is something that I speak on me. I'll never be there. I don't know where y'all boys are with y'all money, but I don't think we in Shaq. You have a monthly budget.
No.
You have a yearly budget. Like
No.
you have a card that you just slide and it's gonna keep sliding because I get emails, bro.
So
and they be like, "Hey, insufficient funds." I get insufficient funds emails all the time.
Look at the look on his face. Why you so serious?
Bro, I'm dead serious, bro. They hit me with insufficient funds at the hotel downstairs a little bit ago. I gave the dude my card, sexy and cool. He hit it. He was like, "Mr. Crowder, insufficient funds." I was like, "Well, no, use this one."
I got another one though.
I was like, "No, use this one."
So no, I don't have an allowance, but a lot of my spending habits are all fixed incomes. I take care of my mama house. Take care of, and those are fixed, so I know what I'm putting out, right? So if I know I'm putting that out, got to do something, offset that. I do have a miscellaneous, do what I want fund. And that's based on, I met a guy one time, a rich guy. He was Beverly Hills, all this. And then like I always tell my kids, we make a lot of money, but we rich. We not wealthy. So I used to see this guy. So I met a guy, and I was like, "How do you stay rich?" And he pulled out $100 bill, and he ripped it in half.
This is important.
And he said, "What's this?" I said, 50-50. He said, "You can save 50. That's cool. We spend this." But he said, "The wealthy people do this. You save this, ball out with that. Whatever you want to do." So I didn't really spend none of my checks until I got married. Like I used to just get my Reebok check and keep that for me, and everything NBA check just don't even look at it. Boom, 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 boom. So I started doing that early, and then I started getting into investing in business. So, but the fact that I listened, and the fact that my family used scare tactics, it really kept me in line. Cause like I don't want to have to make that call to my mama. Mommy, that the house you in, can't pay for it. Nope, I don't. So I've always got to, do things right, do things straight. And then, you look at how the Kennedys, how when people like, trying to teach my kids about general.
Okay, I'm going to stop him right there, right? This is Shaq Diesel. This is the big Shaq, right? And he's saying, listen, I got my first check and I went balling. Now, I can fix the video now. I fixed it on the other side, so I'm going to fix it here. But he said, I got my first check and I went balling. He put straight in the air. Ain't no lying about it. I went out to go for a party. I went out to have myself a good time. I went out. It still didn't work, right? He said, I went out to have myself a good time. I went partying. I went to go balling. That's what I did with my money when I got it. And the problem was, with that money, with him spending that money like that, I froze myself.
Yes, like I said, the screen is freezing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's okay. I'm figuring it out. There it is. Video capture device. Boom. Boom. It's because I switched phones on him. And he don't like that. And now they didn't want to come back again. Because I switched phones. He didn't like me switching phones. All right. Built-in FaceTime camera ain't giving me no problem, so we're gonna go with that. And I'm using a different phone. I tried using the other iPhone, but I'm thinking it's the better way to go, but it's acting up. So we're gonna go with cheapo FaceTime camera tonight. We're gonna work with it. So he said he's spending his money like a fool, and somebody pulls him aside and says, I want you to think about what you're doing right here, because in a minute, you ain't going to have any money. Well, the first thing we do when we don't have money and we get money is what we're going to do. We want to go balling. And I want you to comment on anything you heard here and as I'm speaking on it, because I don't know if we can make people avoid that. Like, especially if they haven't had anything and they get something, they want to go out. They want to go in. They want to do their thing. And it's kind of hard to tell that person you can't. And usually, if you look at all the big people, a lot of them, the Tysons and all of them, the Hammers, and on and on it goes. I don't know if the Caucasian rock groups, same thing. They wind up pouring broke. So I've seen it happen. So right away, he's saying, let's have a mindset. And this is why I want to drop this. Because I remember when I was poor, I was like really, really, really poor. And I got my first job. I didn't even, strike big like that. But for me, it was big. It was like almost like becoming a millionaire. I went from having no money, making no money, to working on Wall Street, working in the computer field, and bringing home like $2,000 a week. And that was a lot of money. I mean, for some people, they still go, that's a lot of money. It's not a small change for sure. And immediately I said to myself, I've been living off of a quarter of this or less. So there's no way I'm going to just spend all this money. Yeah, I did ball a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But what I did immediately is I opened myself a whole life policy. I opened myself a mutual fund banking account. And I didn't even know what it was and how it worked. But I started putting money every week into that. Now, I still do that to this day. I put money aside monthly, all the time. But here's what I want you to think about. I was putting money away that was growing, that I had no idea what it is or where it was going. And years later, I found out that I had done a good thing. But what I get in conversation from people is, but I don't really make money. You could do that because you have money. I don't really make money. And it's like, okay, can you put away $5 a week? Not really. Every 2 weeks? You can't put $5 away a month in an account that you don't touch, that it keeps growing and developing. You can't find anything that you could put $5, $10, $50, $100 a month away. Okay, then you're pretty pathetic. I just want to tell you that. Because there's a way to do it if you want to do it. But that's so little. How much money is that going to make? It's not about making the money. It's about creating in yourself the habit. Listen to me close. The habit of saving and putting money away. That's the beautiful part of it that I want everybody to get. He's going to talk about how he's training his kids to do that for the rest of this video. But I just want to throw that out there. And the comments are open. Questions are here. I want to hear what you got. What we got?
Okay, so Devon said joining ventureships is awesome, as long as they are as the same vision as you.
Okay, I agree, but I disagree. And I'm going to tell you why. Going into living unique and doing hair and hair products and having anything to do with a beauty salon was not in line with my vision or my dream in any kind of way. But one, through prayer, but through a sense of what could be and what is, I've invested in things and got involved. Lindsay is my partner on here also. Staffing company, that wasn't something that was on my mind or aligned with my vision. We were trying to do music and we were trying to do a tech company. And the staffing company's still here and the tech company's gone. So no, it's not always about what aligns with your vision. Sometimes things you get involved with give you tools you need to grow your vision. There's experiences that you gain from things that don't seem right. Nellie and I went to a store first time today to talk to them about putting our products on the shelf. And the gentleman asked some real baller questions, and they were good questions. And he started asking, then he took us out to the shelves and he showed us all the other products. Like, you're not unique, as there are other products on his shelf that make the same claim you do. Why should I put your product on my shelf? And he gave us the opportunity to come up with reasons and explanation of why he should put our product out there. So that challenge even in itself is like, okay, we've been selling it individually, selling online. Now you go to the store, and truthfully speaking, Nelly, I think he was polite in comparison to what some store buyers can be. And so not everything aligns with your idea of what success is, but if you're smart and you're wise, you learn from them. You take what you need from them and you learn from them. Every situation may not look exactly like the road that you're supposed to be on, but if it gives you education, sometimes there are things that will take you off your track, or so it seems. But you just go in the scenic route. You're going to wind back on your track. And in that scenic route, if you pay attention and you lock onto what it is that's happening around you, when you get back to your business, you know things that you didn't know to help your business become successful. So case in point, I'm studying to start my own business. I'm not into numbers. I'm not into accounting. I'm not into that. But then you go have to manage somebody else's business for a season. And you learn all the management tips you need to take during that season so that when you come back to your thing, you have more tools in your belt than you had before, number one. Number two, you're getting paid to learn. And that's a great opportunity. When somebody lets you come and work with them or work for them or be a part of what they're doing, and especially if it's a paid gig, and you, or even if it's an internship, I'm not crazy about those for myself, truthfully speaking, but even if it is, you're getting a free education if you do it right. So that's the balance of that. So yes, what you're saying has a truth to it. You always keep your eye on your vision, but don't be so staunch that you can't go down those other roads that educate you and train you for what it is that you really want to do. And these people have an insight to it that you don't have. Anything else?
Yeah, we have Aaron. He says, yes. He says, do you know Acorns? What do you think?
Okay, Acorn, he's talking about the investment Acorn? We got to give him some time to answer it. But if he's talking about the investment, Acorn Investments, I heard about them. I know about them. I know more about Robinhood. But I am definitely open to hear about Acorn because I believe it's something similar to Robinhood, unless I'm making a mistake. But yeah. No, you got a comment on that? I'm going to go back to the rest of the Shaq video.
No, we just got Elijah Daquan just came on, the young man that we met.
Yes,
at
okay.
the fashion show. He said good evening.
Hey Elijah, good to see you on, brother, and welcome. We're having some real interesting conversation here. I'm gonna go back to the Shaq video for a minute and let him finish up the way he's talking about how he's trying to now get his kids to think about money because he says he don't want them to grow up now thinking, well, because I just have it, it's available to me, and how he's trying to really teach his kids to appreciate and value the dollar like he had to learn, which I think is dope. So we're gonna put Shaq back on, and I'll be back.
Oh, well, like my man, I'm like, look, I started it off. But if you look at how they do it, they started off and then they kids flip it and then they can go forever. I'm trying to get y'all can just take it and flip it. That's what I'm trying to teach them. You don't get no cheese until you have 3 or 4 degrees. That's it.
Oh, that's super dope.
Yep.
I love that.
I don't think we can really hit on this enough. And we're all for former athletes. And really our mission now is more than anything to give back. I mean, we've made our money and we have families. We do a lot. And I think this platform is, more special because we have a voice and people can listen to us, right? A lot of young guys. And you're just here talking. We just recently did Alex Rodriguez, Floyd, the champ. And they had a lot of gems. They, talking about giving back, what they do, what influenced them. And, looking at our sports, football, 87% of the people, they're divorced, filing bankrupt or what have you when they retire.
Same thing in the NBA.
So, but people know you, and right? And they know what you stand for. They know you're approachable. They know your business ventures. My question to you is, do people reach out to you to help them or to give them some sort of direction?
No.
That's what's so mind-boggling to me.
You know how it is with these young cats. They make more money than we did and can't tell them nothing. I try not to be forceful. They know if they need something, they can holler, but I try not to be forceful because I was like that too.
Well. He said you can't be forceful because they don't want to hear it. They're not listening to you right now. They're not trying to hear what you got to say. And that right there is one of the biggest upsets or one of the most upsetting things that I see when I'm trying to deal with young folk a lot of time. They think they understand and they know, or they'll ask me for help, and when I'm trying to coach them, they're going, yeah, but what you got to do is, yeah, but what you need to do is, and I'm like, so then why are you asking me? You know, you're trying to put, to use a scriptural term, you're trying to put new wine in old wineskins. Here, I have a saying I stand by, and I want you to listen to this close. If you are your own teacher, you're learning the same lessons over and over again. If you are your own mentor, you're learning the same lessons over and over again. You got to put yourself in a place where people make you feel stupid. They make you feel ignorant. They make you feel like you don't know what the beat you're talking about. I like walking in a room where I have to be quiet and just take it in because what they're talking about is over my head. And if they ask me, I don't try to act like, I go like, listen, I'm a sponge right now. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. If you get to a point that I can comment on, I will. But for now, I'm just going to take this in. I don't always have to have something to say and try to prove my masculinity. I want my masculinity to be in my pockets, not in me trying to show something in front of a room. Let my pockets be masculine and my mouth could be quiet. So it's very important. When you're thinking about this, he said, I'm trying to do these young kids, they become you. No. Why? Well, because they think they already know. And people usually don't know what fire feel like till they get burned, unfortunately. But we don't have to do it that way. So the approach to success comes in various forms. But let's go back to the slideshow for a minute, just for a minute. I want to bore people out with the slideshow, but it's important. Okay, where is it? Where's my checklist? What happened to my checklist? Okay, I don't know what happened. Oh, duh. Yes, I do. It's on the screen. My bad. Okay, let's go back to the slideshow. Did it come up there? Not yet, huh? All right. Well, we had the slideshow up there, it went bye-bye. That slideshow was important. Where'd it go? All right. We're not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna read it to you. And you can and again, you can go to the site. Where did they go to download it? To visionbuilders.com?
Yes.
Go to visionbuilders.com and download the Millionaire Checklist. It has an instruction, and then it has spaces for you to fill in your answers or your own contemplation after you finish with it. So we're going to go to part 3, which is very, very important. Choose a business structure. Choose a business structure. I know that may sound confusing to some people, but it's really not. Everything sounds confusing when you first hearing it. But that's why we have the power words that I go over weekly, where we come up with these big words and their definitions so that you have something to work with. So it says choose a business structure: a sole proprietorship, an LLC, an S corp. All right. Now, just to keep that simple, and I'm going to show you a video on some of that. Let me just talk about this. Sole proprietorship, an LLC, or S corp. And it could be a C corp. That's but those are just some of them we're naming. But most people starting out do an LLC, and that's a limited risk, a limited liability partnership. So a lot of people start out with an LLC. Most people say LLC, and if they ask you what corp, you would say you normally S corp. That's just to keep people from being able to sue you. That's also tax benefits. But it's something I've learned later on in the game, and it's something I'm doing now with all of my properties and stuff. I've put a couple in, and I'm at this point moving all of my properties into business names and trusts, I'm getting ready. My boy Aaron's on with me. We talking about going into putting my car on our cars. I have a few cars, putting them on Toro. But let me just tell you something. I'm not putting them on Toro until I transfer all of them out of my name into my corporation and my company name, because I do not want anything coming back to me. Everything needs to go through your corporation. That's the purpose of having an S corp, and that's your tax. If I do this and it becomes a personal tax, I'm going to be taxed on the highest bracket. You run everything to a corporation, especially with an LLC. You don't pay for what you make. You pay tax on what you keep. And so if you got enough expenses, you can write enough expenses off. That's a whole different thing. We're going to talk more about that, but it's crucial. I don't do anything that's business and leave it in my name. I don't care if you're a singer. I don't care if you're a rapper. I don't care if you're an actor. I don't care what you are. I taught Esther the same thing. Esther, incorporate. Don't let them pay you as an individual. Let them pay you as a corporation. And for a while, she didn't do that. And I won't go into the depth of her business, but she was making a ton of money when she was on Broadway. And I'm her manager. I'm watching this. And so much of that money, the government snatched it right from her. You're single, you ain't got no kids, you ain't got no house, and that. Boom. She said, next time coming around, she's like, I'm incorporated. I set up my corporation, and they pay me through the corporation now, and now I give myself a salary, which is what I was teaching her from the beginning. Get paid through your corporation. Let the corporation give you a salary. It could be a small salary, but let your company own this cars and stuff that I've got. I don't own no cars. I just drive them. Well, you got BMWs and yeah, no, the company does. I just drive them. Keep that in mind. So let's get into that. Register your business with your state or the state of your choice. I look to see where's the best place at the time to register a business for tax benefits. And there are different places. People will argue. I would never try to tell you which one. The business I just did, I registered it in Wyoming because the tax benefits for that kind of business was best for me in Wyoming. Now, this is not the only one. There are other ones. There's Delaware. There's a lot of places that's really, really good to register your business depending on what you're doing. So you can, and that's kind of stuff you can look up or chat GPT, and it will tell you where's the best place. This is the business I'm doing, and this is where I want to. Where's the best place for me to set my business up or register my business? Very important. If you register in a state that's not the state where you live, then you have to purchase an address, and that's pretty much these. A lot of the law firms do it. They let you use their address for your business documents and everything, and then they charge you like $100-something a year. It's not a ton of money, but if you can do it in your own home, and if it's not a ton of money, and just put it in your back in your back pocket and change all of that later. You don't have to do that straight off the top. Now, get your tax ID or EIN number from the IRS website. Understand this. The tax ID is your business's social security number. Keep this in mind. Don't go through lawyers and people to do this for you because it's a free service. They'll charge you money to do a lot of stuff that you can just do yourself. Even incorporating is not that complicated. You can do it yourself. But if you're not comfortable, there's ways to do it. We're eventually going to set up a service, and we can, for some of you now, if you want to, get you incorporate and set you up. You don't have to pay all these crazy exorbitant lawyer fees. Those things are not that complicated. Our state fees you have to pay. You're not going to get around it to incorporate. But it's a couple of $100, $250, $150, whatever it is. I think it's $250 now. But getting an EIN number is absolutely free on the government website. So, through the IRS. So, set up your company, get an EIN number. Then, next step, and very important, you got to find which bank it will accept certain amounts. Open a business bank account. What if I don't have a lot of money? You got any money in your personal account? Yeah, but I have put it in the business bank account. Why? Because once you open a business bank account, it entitles you and allows you and gives you access to things that you won't get with it being in your personal bank account. There are monies available to you. There, if you want to do loans, there are loans. There's structure. There's classes. There's all kind of things. There's community events that a lot of banks, depending on your bank, is involved in. And as a business, if you really bang on the door and tap on, they want to see you succeed. And I want you to understand this about business banking. No, they just put your money in there. No. Banks don't get rich unless you get rich. Banks don't get money unless you get money. I remember, had an account with this bank for a long time. This was long time. This was about a year and a half ago, and I came in there and I knew the guy who was the manager, and we spoke a little and all that stuff. And people at the counter, they didn't really know me. I didn't really know them. And I came in there with a $500,000 check. And I gave it to him. I said, what you going to do? Someone went to deposit for me to this. He literally walked me around the bank and introduced me to every teller. And everybody, okay, I want you to meet. This is Mr. Brown. Hey, yeah, this is Mr. Brown. Why? Because he was like, oh, shoot. You bringing $500,000 check in here? I want to talk to you, right? I want everybody to know when he comes in here, you respect him. Like, that's his name. Call him by his name. This is big. Mm-hmm. So start putting your money in the business bank account and then get to know the bankers, the managers, and find out what deals and what things are available. I'm gonna answer your questions. When I got this newest bank account I just opened, they immediately said, "You want a credit card?" I was like, "You sure you don't want a credit card?" And I was like, "You know what? Give me a credit card for this company." And right away, he just literally went in there and said, "Okay, we can get you up to $50,000. Why? Because they want you to spend that money. Now, I'm going to go into the benefit of using a business credit card. Not a personal one, but a business one in a minute after I answer some of these questions. What do we got, Nelly?
Okay, so Aaron says, when you create the corporation, then you pay yourself?
Yes, absolutely, Aaron. You let the people pay your company, and then you pay yourself. You are only going to be taxed on what you pay yourself. So you can pay yourself low and pay very low taxes at the end of the year. But the corporation only pays taxes on what it has left after expenses. And that's how you do it. So your car becomes your company car. When I got this apartment I just got, I said to the builder, can I rent this apartment in the company's name? They said no, but I tried. I tried to get the apartment in the company's name. A lot of builders don't want to do that because they say if you don't pay your rent, then they can't go after you. They have to go after your business. But you can, and I'm going a little bit deeper, but you can take a third of your rent and everything expenses that you do in your own apartments, and you can write those off on taxes. So I have 3 homes right now, 3 apartments, and each one of them I take a third. Because why? I use it for business. So my internet, my electric bill, my rent, a third of my expenses for that place, I write those off in taxes. And yes, you can. So yes, put it in the name of let people pay you a business, and then you pay yourself. That's a good question.
He also mentioned tax ID, social security number for the business.
Yeah. Tax ID is like the social security number for your business. It's the same amount of numbers. They just separate. Instead of 3 numbers in the dash, they put 2 numbers in the dash to the rest of the numbers. Same amount of numbers, but it's basically the social security number, the identification number for your business. So you want people to identify you by that, not your social security number. So when I go places to do business and they say, "Can I have your social security number?" I say, "You can have my tax ID number because it's a business transaction." So yes. Now, sometimes as a business, if your business is new, they want you to sign like when I got my last car, they want me to sign as a co-signer because they didn't know the business. Understood. But it's still in the business's name. My business credit cards, it doesn't affect my credit score. It doesn't affect me, even as a co-signer. It doesn't affect your credit score in a negative way. Not that we want to go bad and have a bad business. But my point is, you're shielding yourself. The reason for a corporation is to shield yourself from liability that may come your way, or you drive somebody around in a car and you get into an accident and then they try to sue you, they got to sue the corporation, not you. And it's just a lot more to it. I'm simplifying it because I'm not a lawyer and I'm trying not to give legal advice, but I'm giving you factual advice. That's stuff that I know and that I do. But thank you for the questions. What else we got?
So Devon asked the question. He said, when you deposited the check, were you wearing a suit or regular attire? Because bankers will judge you from head to toe. If they see you dressing presentable, they will greet you with utmost respect.
It's true, but they greet you with better respect when they see the check. No, I was looking like my regular everyday self with a t-shirt and some sneakers and jeans. You know how I dress. And no, see, that's what I'm saying. The whole attitude changed when he saw the size of the check, right? Now, I could come in here looking like $1 million and give them a $50 check. They may be nice, but they're not going to take you around and introduce you to everybody in the bank, okay? No, it was the size of the check. It made a difference. But the presentability is definitely powerful and important. Because, Devon, if you come in there looking right and looking like you on your game, even if you don't have a big check, they say this is somebody that's going somewhere. They see you, they see your vibe, they feel your energy, and they say, he may not have a lot of money now, but I think we want to look out for him because I believe he's going to have a lot of money one day. So, both play a role, but, money talks, in the eyes of people, unfortunately. And I give you an example. The young man, the gentleman, the rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Elijah.
Elijah still here?
Elijah Daquan. Yeah, I see him still on there.
Okay, so Elijah, check this out. So you a rapper, you a musician, you go to the music store, I want to get some gear to do some track. And I don't know if you can see behind me, I didn't even bother telling you. Yes, I'm a producer and I have a full studio here, right? Well, he didn't even know that, so you just find out right now, right? So if you go in the store and you want to buy gear, you're going to pay money for that gear. But when you become successful and big and your name is large, everybody gives you all the equipment. Why? Because your face and your image and your net worth to them makes it worth it to them. When you take pictures, I want people to see my stuff in your pictures. So like I have right here, if you can see the Stephen Slade headphones sitting here, and you can see the speakers behind me, right? And there's Adams and these KRKs. But why do you have that sitting there like that? Because the algorithm picks that up. The algorithm sees that and it pushes the video. It's crazy, but it's true, especially if you're into video. I know I'm going on another subject. I won't go long on it. But if you go into video making, try to keep products around you in your images and your pictures behind. You might not think it matters, but the algorithm sees that and recognizes that and to push it to everybody that's in the Stephen Slade thing. If you ever watch Kevin Samuels, he always had that can of Red Bull. People thought he had to deal with them. He did not, but yet he did, because that algorithm caught that Red Bull can and it pushed it to that audience every time he put a video up. So, just a side note, side journey, if you're making videos and stuff, try to put something, even if it's small in the back where nobody really sees it, the algorithm picks it up and it pushes it. That's free. I just threw that in as an extra gift. That was just for me. You can have that. What else we got?
Okay, so we just let you know, we have Esther Antoine that came in the room. Your daughter Talima came in the room. So also Edwidge made a comment. She said Shaq was fortunate to have someone look out for him early, and you can see how he really invested in learning business practices that helped him build an empire.
Now watch this. Shaq was lucky, if you want to say that, right? Or fortunate. But you know me, I always got to go to deeper level with it. They asked Shaq, Vic asked Shaq, do these young men come to you? Nah, you can't tell these young boys nothing. All right? So, it's not luck or fortune by itself. If you're not teachable, it doesn't make a difference who comes across your path. If you're an a-hole, you're an a-hole, right? Somebody came across his path and he heeded their advice. And that's what makes the difference. You have to be a student. You have to be in student mode. That's why I say when I walk in a room, even at the age of 66, I walk in a room and somebody's got further in life than me and they got something that I want. I am a little boy sitting at the feet. I'm quiet. I'm want to learn. So the fortune and the misfortune is in the fact that people sometimes are idiots and they're hard-hearted or hard-headed and they don't receive instruction. Be a forever student. Shaq heard what they had to say, just like Magic Johnson, and he sat down at the feet of Bus and said, teach me what I need to know. So the key is this. There was a whole bunch of people on that team with Shaq. There's a whole bunch of people on that team with Magic. There was a whole bunch of people on the team with Jordan. How come they got the deals? Because they were quiet enough and wise enough to say, let me shut up and learn what it is you got, and let me not assume that I know everything. And that's where real success comes from, not from getting lucky. I know that's not what you meant to say, but I do not like that thought, well, he was lucky. No, people get opportunities if they put themselves in a position to learn. I've learned from talking to wealthy people. Listen to them more than you talk to them. Okay, let me give you an example. This is a good example. We were talking about it today. The School of Hard Knocks. That young white boy that's walking up to everybody on the street. Excuse me, sir. Is this your car? How old were you when you made your first million? I gotta go. I really can't talk to you. Okay, but let me just ask you two questions. Okay, and 10 minutes later, they're still standing there talking to him. Why? Rich people like talking about themselves. They love sharing their story. They love telling you how they got there. They love everything about it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're there trying to push your position or say what you got to say, or this is how I see it, this ain't for you. Just log off right now. People who want to be successful, you ask a bunch of questions, and people that are successful love to answer those questions. Yes, go ahead. And thank you, Nelly. You are such a blessing today.
You're welcome. Okay, so basically, you have Edwards made another comment earlier. She said, I'm completing my online profile to start taking patients for therapy, waiting to get credentialed with a few more insurance companies.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And congratulations, because that's a big step for you. Any more comments and stuff, or do I move on?
Nope, you can move on. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how much time we got? We're a little bit over time. Mm-hmm. How many of you want me to show you this incorporation video and this process? Give me a yes or a thumbs up in the video. I'm going to give it a few seconds because the video is almost 6 minutes long, and I don't want to drag you on if it's not something you're interested in right now. Or if you want me to talk about something else, let me know, but I think you may benefit from this video. Tell me what we're getting in there. Dun, 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 dun. I get it up on the screen in the meantime. Talk to me.
Still come home.
Talk to me. Well, in the meantime, I got another video I can show them. Shorter one. I want them to see this one. I'll be waiting for that one. For the answers on the business school.
He was one of the best employees LSI Logic ever had. And so the thing I learned is you can make up a great interview.
Talima said play it.
You can even have a bad interview, but you can't.
I'm trying to, you gotta wait for this video to start over again. That's one thing I don't
away
like
from your
about
past. And so have a good past.
Okay, start over again. There we go. Let's do it again. How do you rewind it when you were in a stupid screen like this? I know how to rewind it on the app. Let me see. Let's go off here and come back again and see what happens. There we go.
Devon said yes, play it. Talima said yes, play it.
Okay, so then we'll skip this one then. I want to go to that class. There we go.
Business School 101. A business entity is essential. Hello everyone, welcome to Business School 101. A business entity is essentially an organization formed by one or more individuals with the purpose of conducting business, trade, or similar activities. There exists a variety of business entity types, including sole proprietorships, partnerships, LLCs, corporations, and more. The specific type of business entity selected not only shapes the structure of the organization, but also determines how the business is taxed. So what are the most common types of business entities in the United States, and what are their respective advantages and disadvantages? Furthermore, which types of businesses are best suited for each of these entities? In this video, I will discuss these questions with you. Type 1. Sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is the simplest form of business organization where a single individual owns and operates the business. It's not a separate legal entity from the owner, and business income and expenses are reported on the owner's personal tax return. The owner has unlimited personal liability for the business's debts and legal obligations. Sole proprietorship's major advantages include: Number 1. Simplicity. Easy and inexpensive to start and operate. Number 2. Control. The owner has full control over the business. Number 3. Tax benefits. Profits and losses are reported on the owner's personal tax return, simplifying taxation. However, its disadvantages include: Number 1. Unlimited liability. The owner is personally liable for business debts and lawsuits. Number 2. Limited access to capital. Limited ability to raise capital through investors or loans. Number 3. Limited expertise. Relying on the owner's skills and knowledge may limit business growth. Common businesses form sole proprietorship include: freelance services, such as graphic design, writing, web development, small retail shops, such as boutique clothing stores, local cafes, and independent consultants, such as marketing consultants, life coaches, etc. Type 2. Partnership. A partnership is a business structure where two or more individuals or entities, partners, collaborate in a business. Partners share the management responsibilities, profits, and losses. There are two main types: general partnerships, where all partners have unlimited liability, and limited partnerships, LPs, which include both general and limited partners with different liability and management roles.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it stop.
Major advantages are: Number 1. Shared responsibility.
Okay, so they're saying that the video is cutting off and on. I had it on right from the Zoom. That's the video that it was downloaded and sent to me, and it started screwing up. And I was trying to get it in as the YouTube. Did you ever send me the YouTube link? Send me the link straight to YouTube, not a video that you downloaded. So if I get the YouTube link, I go back to it. But while we're doing that, let's go to the sole proprietorship. So you said you could do a sole proprietorship, but as you saw, the taxes are on you. If anybody sues, it's on you. You know, it's not the best way to go. That's more like a mom and pop shop. Yeah, you can take it if you want. That's a mom and pop shop, and it can be more problems than a little bit. So as soon as they give me the link to the actual video, I'm going to go ahead and load that up right on YouTube. I think we load it right up on YouTube. It'll be much better and save us a lot of issues. So any questions or comments on that, feel free to give them. And I'm going to stay on here for a few more minutes because I'm trying to be mindful of people's time. But I don't feel like anybody's in a rush. How many people we got on right now?
At one point I was saying 24.
So Edward just text me something what she said.
Oh.
That may have been the
15 people now.
Good. Well, I'm glad to have you. Let me see what Edward sent me. I think she sent me the YouTube link. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd rather play it straight from YouTube than try to play it from there. So, any comments and stuff so far while we're getting the video to load up?
She says, Devon said, he said, you saw this video before, it's good to watch it again, but doesn't sole proprietor tie back to you?
Yes.
Like leave you exposed?
Exactly, and that's what he is saying. You're saying the sole proprietor taking that approach is not the best approach because
This is a check my company collected
Okay,
for
listen.
over $30,000.
That's the only
Here's
thing about
another
doing
one
it this
for
way. There's
twice
a
that,
pain.
over
You gotta
$60,000.
wait for them to show their stupid
And this
commercials. Okay, here we go. And I'll skip ahead what we need to.
Hello everyone, welcome to Business School 101. A business entity is essentially an organization formed by one or more individuals with the purpose of conducting business, trade, or similar activities. There exists a variety of business entity types, including sole proprietorships, partnerships, LLCs, corporations, and more.
Now we'll move ahead.
Proprietorships' major advantages include: Number 1. Simplicity. Easy and inexpensive to start and operate. Number 2. Control. The owner has full control over the business. Number 3. Tax benefits. Profits and losses are reported on the owner's personal tax return.
So some of this stuff we've already seen, but because you asked the question, yes, it leaves you exposed in a lot of ways. So we're going to jump ahead on this to where he says the disadvantages are. The disadvantages are unlimited liability, limited access to capital, and limited expertise. Now, limited access to capital is because a lot of banks don't want to loan you money when you're a sole proprietor. So that could be a DBA, that could be you just open up a store yourself and you're doing it as your own company. And you can set that up as a company, but the advantages are limited. So yes, you got a limited expertise, you have a limited access to capital, and you have unlimited liability. And that means people could come at you and sue you, and you want to avoid that. So to answer your question, Devon, yes, that's not the best way to go. Let's keep it going. And you'll tell me when you get sleepy, and then we'll move on.
Type 2. Partnership. A partnership is a business structure where two or more individuals or entities, partners, collaborate to run a business. Partners share the management responsibilities, profits, and losses. There are two main types: general partnerships, where all partners have unlimited liability, and limited partnerships, LPs, which include both general and limited partners with different liability and management roles. Partnerships' major advantages are: Number 1. Shared responsibility. Partners can bring different skills, knowledge, and resources to the business. Number 2. Tax benefits. Profits and losses pass through to the partner's personal tax returns. Number 3. Ease of formation. Relatively simple to create with a partnership agreement. However, its disadvantages include: Number 1. Unlimited liability for general partners. General partners have unlimited personal liability. Number 2. Conflict potential. Disagreements among partners can lead to conflicts. Number 3. Shared profits. Profits must be shared among partners, potentially limiting individual earnings. Common businesses that form partnerships include law firms, accounting firms, medical practices, architecture firms, and real estate agencies. Type 3.
No. Let's go back. Go back to type 2 a little bit. So let's talk about this now. Let's talk about this. So we're talking about partnerships, share responsibilities, share tax benefits, okay. It's easy to form that, yes. What's the downside of that? Well, the downside of that is you still have unlimited liabilities all on you. Conflict potential, meaning you and the partner start to fight and don't agree. One of the things he said was share responsibility, and he said the good thing is you can get a lot of people with different ideas and all that. Yeah, but you can get that being the boss too, and just paying the salaries and not having to share your partnership with all these bunch of people. I will always encourage people in this area: don't treat a business like a hangout for your friends or like a help out. You're not social services. Don't hire people because they're your friends. Don't hire people because they're your family. And for God's sake, don't hire people because they need a job. You only hire people because you need them to do a job and they have the skills to do it. Don't bring people on because you're trying to hook them up. That's always going to bite you in the behind, and they're going to always wind up feeling entitled and think that what you get and what you earn belongs to them too, when they didn't do a cotton picking thing to get there. So I see Edward just texted me. Can you see what it is? Because I can't look at it. Right? Let me see. So whatever you're trying to say to me, Edward, you're going to have to say to Nelly. She put some things, all right, the different names. Okay, send those to Nelly because I have to watch the screen. I can't look at that. So now, so keep this in mind as you're going forward. Take care of people in your family when you get wealthy enough and you got spillover to take care of them. Or when you're successful enough that your needs are met, then look out for other people if you want to. I advise you to still be very careful with that because people start to believe that they're entitled to what you give them. And when you try to take it from them, they try to bring all kind of legal problems and stuff to you. So just be very careful about doing too much for people. There's a saying I heard once, and I love it a lot. Be careful for doing too many favors for people because they'll begin to believe that they're actually doing you the favor. They think that they're helping you out by allowing you to give to them. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. So, listen, your business is a business. And if you still have the mindset of an employee, I'm just going to help out my family, I'm going to help out, yeah, you ain't going to build anything doing that. Because you don't build a business to help out the family. That's a benefit that can come with it. You build a business to satisfy a customer and serve a public. And if everybody you bring on doesn't have that same mentality, you won't have a business for long. You have a customer base, a group of people whose problem you solve, and your responsibility is to solve that problem. And anyone who gets in the way of you solving that problem needs to be cut off at the ankles. It's as simple as it gets. I've been around long enough, and I did all the, I'm gonna help this one, I'm gonna do that, I got money now, and now I almost feel, survivor's guilt that I feel is my responsibility to take care of everybody else. It is not my responsibility. And if I choose to do it, I choose to do it. And if you get too attached to it, I cut you off. That's it. There's no more of that for me. Those days are over. Anyway, moving on. The next point that was made, and I thought was a very good point, and then we're going to go to the next one. You have questions or comments while I'm switching, Nelly?
Okay, so we have... Delvanus had a comment. He said, Ruth and I are still building and it's looking good. And partnerships are risky, but businesses fell apart due to childish disagreements.
True. And that's what he's saying. He says, yeah, unless you got two people there who got the same kind of hunger, both of you should be a challenge to each other to be better. And if not, that person gonna wind up being a liability. And just from experience, I know that to be a real thing. It winds up being a liability. Let's move forward.
The numbers are going down now.
Okay. So I see people are starting to check off. So I'm thinking it's been long enough. It's almost been an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna wrap up at this point at the video right now. We're at what number? What time? Well, you know what the last points were, right? So 3 minutes and 20, so 3.5 minutes into the video we are. So because it's dropped so much in viewership, I'm figuring people are tired. And people said show the video, but that's one thing I know about people. When you start showing the video, people will stay on all day if I'm talking. But then if you start showing them videos and slideshows, people are like, oh boy. That's why I try to stop in between and have a conversation with you. But the numbers have dropped drastically, right? So with that said, I'm going to wrap up tonight. I'm going to say to all the people that did show up, thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Let people know we're here. Let people know we're here answering questions. Not a lot of people doing this teaching. And
Viewers. the video
Rewatch the videos. Thank you.
and comment.
And comment on the videos, please. Let's get the algorithm seeing us. We're growing slower. There was time we were moving quickly, it slowed down again, but I understand the waves. But we're going to keep on pushing. We're going to keep banging them out until we reach the numbers that we're going for. That 5,000 and 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, million, 5 million. We're just going to keep banging them out. But we appreciate your participation. Come on back, hang out with us again, and let's do great things together. Here, you, me, us, vision builders. You ready? Let's grow.
Devon said, nah, I'm not tired. Aaron said, thank you.